75. Morbid Angel, Altars of Madness. A death metal classic. Morbid Angel's debut album, released in 1989, with that wonderful album artwork. And it's wonderful artwork, that album. Worth getting a t-shirt of. Though only wear t-shirts if you like the band and their music, otherwise you're being a poser twat. but it's beautiful artwork. I really like the cover of that album. Altars of Madness, yes, it's a death metal classic. I don't like it quite as much as the one that came afterwards, more of which later in the list. But it's very fast all the way through. There's none of these slower passages. I sort of like early death metal when it has slow with the fast, because I find it works really well with the two tempos, rather than just full speed ahead, which after a while just feels like a boring wall of sound and not particularly interesting. But Morbid Angel, okay, the lyrics here are not quite as intelligent as they are on the second album, again, but I do appreciate Morbid Angel are very literary, they're very intelligent, their spirituality is quite deep, actually. More of that is in their later albums than on this first album, perhaps, which is just like, let's sing about satanic, blasphemous, anti-Christian stuff, which is, you know, standard fare in extreme metal anyway. But I do feel that they have a finesse and an intelligence about the way they approach this subject matter of their songs, and they're very skilled musicians. The intricate guitar work that they do, it's high quality death metal, it is, and this is a classic album. My favourite track on Altars of Madness is Chapel of Ghouls. I love Chapel of Ghouls. That is the track for this album for me, and I often use it as kind of like an example of good quality early death metal. Chapel of Ghouls by Morbid Angel. Yeah. So yeah, the album Altars of Madness. It's worth getting. It's a very good album. Number 74. Rage Against the Machine. Yes, alternative metal, rap metal. This obviously a pivotal release. Everyone knows Killing in the Name, but seriously, the entire album is full of very exciting, very politically charged, very intelligent lyrics, political lyrics, very innovative, interesting music. The way the guitar player, I forgot his name, Tom Morello, the sounds he gets out of his guitar just blew us all away at the time, and still blow people away when they listen to this album. And Zach De La Rocha's vocals and lyrics and his delivery, passionate. And it's a passionate album, it's a very political album, it's a very intelligent album, it's a very musically innovative album. It's a classic for a reason. And it's great. Put it on and it's hard not to love it. Even if you don't usually like rapping in metal, even if you don't like alternative metal or whatever, new metal or any of these things, still put it on. It's awesome. The passion, the anger, the power, the coolness of the album, the politicalness of the album. It'll blow you away, it'll blow your mind, and as it did all of us who were young teenagers in 1992 and 1993 probably, because I think it was quite late in 92 that this was released, so it kind of hit us in early 93 I think, really. But it blew all of us away, and for good reason. It's a really good album. 73. Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. The debut album of the band who started heavy metal. Not hard rock, but heavy metal. Yes, Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. A doomy, bluesy album. I mean, really, although the track Black Sabbath is undoubtedly the beginning of heavy metal, largely this album is sort of a blues rock album still. But yeah, Black Sabbath, classic track. Heavy metal wouldn't exist without it. The Wizard, wonderful, groovy, stomping track. with the harmonica, and it's about Gandalf or something, I think, from Lord of the Rings. But it's great. Behind the Wall of Sleep, underrated track, but I love it. And the drum outro, love it. Yeah, then you've got NIB, of course. Yeah, Lucifer kind of Satanism thing there going on. Evil Woman, kind of a blues rock song. Sleeping Village, The Warning, great. And some of the long instrumental passages at the end of the album, they are fucking amazing. Right, they're not as boring as you might think they are. They're fucking amazing. And this is a good album. And I've had it since I was about 12 years old. Not on CD, obviously, it was cassette back then. That's how long I've been familiar with this album for, since I was 12. I might have been 13 actually, I might have just turned 13 by the time I got into Sabbath, to be honest. Number 72, The Real Thing by Faith No More. Alternative metal again. Very innovative, weird band that nobody else sounded like Faith No More. And later they did a whole smorgasbord of different sounds and styles in a very eclectic, very off-the-wall, weird kind of way that was perhaps more reminiscent of Mike Patton's not solo act, his other band, Mr. Bungle or whatever. But here on The Real Thing, this is the Faith No More sound, really, I suppose. That they had in the earlier days. They sort of got classed as funk metal with bands like Living Colour and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Fishbone at the time, but it was apparent even at that time that they were more than funk metal. They had their own style which nobody else sounded like, and this was before they did like a variety of different stuff. But even so, their signature sound, which pretty much all the album is in the same kind of style, was unique. Nobody else sounded like them. And it didn't slot so easily into one of these categories. And I mean, this was what alternative metal was. Before it got like formulaic and became new metal, it was just like, let's do stuff, let's do metal with other stuff, and just, you know, it was kind of experimental, weird, kind of like throw the doors open wide thing. And a band like Faith No More really exemplifies that, because they're just doing their own thing, and no one else sounded like them, and it was kind of awesome. And it is an awesome album, The Real Thing. I love the song Falling to Pieces. Everyone knows Epic, right? That's kind of got a rap thing. It didn't usually rap, so that was unusual. It was actually unusual for them, because they sing, they don't rap usually. Actually, I prefer to Epic. Epic's a great song, of course it is, but I prefer the opener, You Came Out of Nowhere, brilliant, and the song after it, Falling to Pieces, which was also a single, and also a very well known Faith No More track, but it's a brilliant song, you know, I love it. There's some interesting moments, like Surprise You're Dead, it's just like fucking, it's pummeling thrash. So they're genuinely metal when they want to be. And then later on, there's some like interesting epic kind of number, which are awesome in their own way. Kind of epic and progressive almost kind of tracks later on the album. Not really progressive, but anyway. Like the title track, The Real Thing. But also this instrumental, isn't it? Woodpecker from Mars and that. The Real Thing, 1989, Faith No More, The Real Thing. It's an awesome album. It's a brilliant album. I recommend it. Check it out. Number 71. Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. This is the highest Ozzy Osbourne album on this list. I mean, not counting the Sabbath ones even, of course. But of his solo career, the highest of his solo albums is Bark at the Moon. Interesting. An unusual choice. Most people would put Blizzard of Oz as the best Ozzy Osbourne album, with Diary of a Madman close on its heels. I've never owned Diary of a Madman, by the way, which is why it's not on this list. It doesn't satisfy the criteria of being on this list, because I've never actually owned the album as a whole. I do know some of the big tracks off it, including the title track, which is amazing. But no, Diary of a Madman's not on this list at all, because I've never owned it as an album. And yeah, Blizzard of Oz is usually people's favourite Ozzy album, and it was on this list, and it was the second highest Ozzy Osbourne album on this list. But the highest one for me is Bark at the Moon, so that's an unusual choice. However, I find there seems to be a theme to this album. I think Ozzy, I mean, I don't know how early he was experiencing like right-wing Christians branding him as a Satanist or whatever, but I think he must have had this reputation at this time. This album seems to be about that reputation, that people think he's a Satanist, and kind of about the fact that, no, I'm not. And if anything, somewhere deep in my psyche from my upbringing, there's a kind of more of a Christian thing going on. I feel like that's what he's articulating in this album, and it feels like a thematic thing of this album. We have Rock and Roll Rebel saying, you know, they say I worship the devil. They must be stupid or blind. I'm just a rock and roll rebel. That sets up the theme straight away. Of course, you've got Bark at the Moon, the title track, which is sort of about werewolves, but it's sort of also about the devil. And obviously it's a bit of pantomime, fiction-y kind of thingy. It's not actually saying anything specific about the thing, but it does fit into the theme because of its, you know, diabolical nature. But then you've got You're No Different, which, yeah, it's exactly, it seems to be saying, like, you know, you paint me as this bad guy, but really I'm the same as you, sort of thing. I mean, that theme is lost in the middle of the album. You get a bunch of and actually the middle of the album is the worst part of the album for me. There's some throwaway tunes. There's a ballad that's not too bad, called So Tired, or whatever. Journey to the Centre of the da-da-da. That one's kind of entertaining. But yeah, the theme comes back at the end. The theme that I'm saying is in this, of Ozzy's reputation as a Satanist, as Prince of Darkness or whatever. It comes back at the end of the album. You've got two tracks, Waiting for Darkness and Spiders, which I absolutely love both of those songs. Waiting for Darkness is, I may as well go to the dark side if I've got this reputation people are throwing at me. You know, I wouldn't want anything to do with your brand of Christianity when it's so full of hate and bullshit like this. Yeah, I think that's sort of the vibe of that song. It's like, you know, spare me from the light. Here comes the night and here I'll stay waiting for darkness. But all the time it's like, but I'm not evil. Because all the time it's saying, I just can't conceive why darkness is overdue. You know, what, for some reason darkness isn't taking me. I'm not on the dark side. You've got it all wrong, sort of thing. I don't know. I read too much into things sometimes, but I love that song, yeah. Spiders as well makes it very clear. Spiders, it is about this. It must be about this. It's about Ozzy's reputation, being branded a Satanist when he's not a Satanist. It totally is. And Spiders, it's like that twist at the end, doesn't it? It's all about, you know, the spiders that you fear and da-da-da and, you know, all this thing. Yeah, there's no escape. The spider's in your head. That's it. Anyway, Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. I find the album lyrically satisfying. As I said, I see a lot of it as thematically linked with regards to this thing, and I love a lot of the songs on it. Those 5 songs, in fact, I absolutely love the album. Rock and Roll Rebel, Bark at the Moon, You're No Different, Waiting for Darkness, and Spiders, that make this album my favourite Ozzy Osbourne album.